So you're probably watching this video because you're one of the millions of people who have a 9-to-5 or you have a corporate job and you're trying to start a side business, or you already have a side business and you're trying to balance the two at the same time. Or you're in the early stages of burnout and you're trying to prevent yourself from getting yourself in a rut. So whether you're doing real estate, you're investing in stocks, you're starting a new business, selling services or products, you have come to the right place. This is the video for you, because in this video, I'm going to share with you 5 practical and actionable steps that are going to help you keep your corporate job, but at the same time, run your business on the side without dying. I'm just kidding. So first of all, my name is Nate. I'm an entrepreneur based in the US. Why I'm qualified to make this video is because I actually own a business called Render Vision. I started the business while I had a corporate job working in architecture in Indianapolis, Indiana. And at the time, I struggled through a lot of things. So the reason I wanted to really make this video is to help the next person who has that amazing idea and you really want to jump, but at the same time, you have to keep your job to just keep things running and also probably fund your business. So let's get straight to it, man. So one of the first things you have to do, and I say this all the time, you have to step away from yourself and look at the reality of things that are happening in your life. In other words, you have to become aware. So one of the things we have to pay attention to within ourselves is how we're feeling. Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling anxious? Well, you may ask, like, how do I do that, right? So one of the ways that I stay just kind of like in touch with how I'm feeling is by meditating. And at first, I looked down on it, honestly, because I was like, I'm not trying to do that whole woosah thing. Like, I feel like I can get through it mentally, and I'm mentally strong and I'm tough and all that stuff. But life comes at you fast. So being mindful is key. And so meditating actually helps you to be more mindful and to understand the thoughts that are coming in and out of your brain. So like I said, you need to be aware of your emotions. You need to be aware of how you're feeling, and that'll help you to identify why you're feeling the way that you're feeling, either, going into burnout or whatever it is that's not allowing you to balance your side hustle and your job. So once you've done this, it'll be easier for you to identify some of the things that are pulling you back, or some of the things that are preventing you from even starting in many cases. Because one of the things that we're trying to achieve here is productivity. And it's hard to be productive when you have all those thoughts and all those feelings running around in your mind. So it's imperative that you actually do this first step before even going into the other stuff that I'm about to talk about. Because honestly, if you don't do the self-work first, a lot of the other stuff is useless, because you're in a mental state that you're either drowning or you're not even in the mental state to start. And it could possibly paralyze you from, what you need to do. Number 2 is going to be time management. You have to learn how to manage your time and practice proper time allocation. Now, we all know we have so many things that we're juggling in our lives, right? You have the family life, you have the business that you're trying to start or that you've started, you have your job, you have your health, you have wealth management, you have all of those things that are happening around you and you're just juggling, So it's time to clean all that up, right? The first way to start is by delineating time or setting limits. If you don't start setting limits, everything's just going to start blending into each other. As we know, all of these things are sporadic, right? You could, have to put more effort into work one day. You could have to put more effort into your business another day. You could have to put more effort into family. Something might come up, you getting stressed. And we don't want that. So you need to set some time. So let's say, you have your day, right? 24 hours. You wake up at a certain time, let's say 5 a.m. You start, working out or whatever. You start working at 7, or you work on your job from 7 to 4. And then you go home and you have 3 hours or so to work on your business, or you have 4 hours to work on your business. And then the rest is spent with family and spent with yourself. This is the type of healthier day that you want to be able to create for yourself. And obviously the inputs equal the output. So how much ever you put in your business, that's what you're going to get out. But you got to really know, which I'm going to talk into the next point, where you're headed or where you're trying to go to even know any of that, right? One of the main things, and I talk about this in my last video where I talk about depression as an entrepreneur, and even the video before that, I talk a little bit about work-life balance and stuff. So you got to understand that you got to be able to detach yourself away from work and your business. because you're doing both, it's more likely that you're going to get burnt out, right? So even if it's like weekends, one day of the weekend, you have to do something to take yourself away. And this is another one. You have to learn how to say no. I learned this very, very, very early on. At some point, you're going to always be presented with these so-called opportunities. Somebody comes and say, oh, I'm trying to invest into this small business, or I'm trying to invest into this product. We're trying to sell iPhones or sell, laptops or something like that. And it's going to seem flashy to you because you're a business person. You're an entrepreneur. You think about making profit. You think about making money, but you got to stay focused, man. You got to keep your eyes on the prize of the things that you're already doing, because there's a reason you're doing those things. If there wasn't a reason, you wouldn't be doing them. So by learning to say no to things, you will not lose track of the path you're headed on, and you won't keep jumping from one thing to the other. But it's also a good thing just to practice in life in general, learning how to say no, because man, if you don't learn how to say no in life, I mean, you're just creating like your own grave. Sorry. So I wanted to add this little third point in just to emphasize how much this stuff applies to your quality of life as a corporate worker and as an entrepreneur. You have to stay healthy. And that means eating right, exercising, and that means taking care of yourself. Also your mental health. Doesn't matter how much money you're making. If you don't take care of yourself, you don't take care of your body, what's the point? Are you going to even be able to enjoy all the things you're working so hard for if you don't take care of yourself? Trust me, I learned the hard way. That's why I keep emphasizing it. So if you've been thinking about getting a trainer, if you've been thinking about getting on a workout plan, if you've been thinking about going to therapy, if you've been thinking about that meal plan or whatever it is, do it now. Okay, on to point 4. So this is an interesting one, and it also depends on the person, right? But this is my suggestion to you all. I believe it's important to save your side income that you're making, right? So that you can pump it into the business. But at the same time, you do want to pay yourself. So sooner or later, you're going to make the life decision. Hey, do I want to leave my job completely? Do I want to just do this for another 5 to 10 years or whatever? Do I want to quit the side business and just focus on my job? You're going to have to make a prime time decision. But if you make the decision to actually leap into business, you're most likely going to have some type of safety net, right? So that if things do go bad, you have something to lean on. Because I know a lot of people are afraid that if they leap, they're going to mess up and have to go back to their job. First of all, it's not the end of the world. It happens, right? You have to do what you have to do to create a living for yourself, to take care of your family, to take care of, whatever you need to take care of. So whatever you need to do, don't let nobody shame you on that, right? Because it's you, it's your decision. It's what you're going through. But back to the point, you're going to have some type of emergency fund or whatever it is that helps you run your business and take care of yourself. But at the same time, even if it's $100, even if it's $300, you have to learn how to pay yourself. You have to get into the motion, because what it does is it keeps the incentive going for you. Trust me on this. I think it solves some type of like chemical reaction in our brains. Like I call it chloromoniol. It's like an addictive chemical trigger that sets off in our brains that just tells us like, all right, you're paying yourself, like you got something going on here. Okay. Oh, and the money that you actually allocate for yourself, spend that money. Like I would suggest doing some activities, like something that gives you an experience, right? Like maybe some travel expenses as a part of your trip, whatever that can buy. These days, like stuff is so expensive that's like one meal. But, it's also tax deductible. So, try it. But by doing this, it's going to help you to reduce a lot of stress because you have an amount that you can actually rely on while you're figuring out a way to make this work. So last but not least, number 5, you have to be clear on your vision to yourself. And also, I would suggest that you write it down on a piece of paper. So what do you see yourself doing in the next 6 months, the next 1 year, the next 3 years, the next 5 years, the next 10 years? Who do you see yourself as? I would suggest writing it as statements. I am a full-time entrepreneur. I am an international entrepreneur. I am making $1.5 million a year. I am in a beautiful family, in a beautiful home, and blah, blah, blah. It could also be, I am the CEO of the company I'm working at. Like I said, you don't always have to take the route of entrepreneurship if you decide that, while you're trying it out, it's not necessarily the thing that you want to do right now. That's completely fine. But what I would say is you have to start what you're going into with a goal. Even if you're doing both at the same time, the reality is to keep track of your goals and to keep pushing, there's gonna have to be a sense of clarity there. So that's what this actually helps with. So in conclusion, I just wanna say, as you're watching this video, go ahead and implement this stuff immediately. There's no reason to wait at all, right? If you need to, replay this video and do the stuff as I'm talking about it. Ladies and gentlemen, watching this video alone is not the thing that's going to help you to balance your side business and your corporate job. It's the implementation. It's putting these things into practice that's going to actually give you what you need, because you don't want to end up in the same cycle of stress, fatigue, and burnout ever again, right? We want to cancel that. We want to eliminate that. So what are your thoughts on this video? I really want to hear from you guys. Leave me a comment below and let's talk. Once again, I'm Nate Robert-Eze. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.